Hello everyone, Rudar here with another grounded video. Today's video we're going over the bounce towers, like my elevators that I make. We're going to go over a redesign, which is the one on the right with the rounded walls. And then we're going to go over new design with just rounded walls. So it's a four-sided, basically, tower versus this six. So it's the cheapest so far. Granted, if you use windows all the way up, it's even cheaper. But basically, my hexagon design, which will be linked in the description below for my 4 zipline towers, as well as, actually, no, it's in the 4 zipline towers video. That'll be linked in the description below, and there'll be a card at the end of the video that you can click on, take you straight to it. But basically, just like that. It's just got the nice rounded edges. Looks a little bit cleaner. And then, of course, you throw the rounded floors up here at the top, put your bounce tower, your zipline anchor, and off you go. But this one's the one that's going to be fun over here, the one I like. So this one it looks like it's open face, but if you look, I'm gonna look down while I go up. Each section has the half floor wrapping around, so in case you do get kicked backwards for whatever reason, you have a safe spot to land. If you're like me, you don't do well on the open elevator towers, and you go flying off and die. And then of course I made the top, rounded edges and stuff, so we can get a good aerial view of it. Actually looks pretty cool to me anyway. I was working on this last night during stream. I had a couple members of the regiment, Karate Choppa and Chris Kappell, to name a few, that were giving me some ideas and suggestions, and we came up with this. So I figured I'd make a video and share it with the rest of you guys. So now I'm just going to go through a quick little build. Now this build is literally just changing out the diagonal walls to the rounded walls. The snap feature does not work, which is why I'm going to redo at least 2 levels, like 2 bounce levels of this, because the snap feature doesn't quite work anymore, thanks to collision physics. So I'll start with the bottom. I'm just going to go and then find the window. There we go. So you see, it's just the same way I did in my previous video for the my bounce elevators, except with this one there has to be a slight change because the snap feature doesn't want to work. It may just be a build issue because of the public test server, which has caused some issues with building. It may be something new that they messed with, I don't know, but this still works quite well. Normally I would have used the snap feature, which if you notice for PC, it's the left control button, just right there, the across the bottom right there, left control, which allows you to snap your bounce webs in place. But if I can get this thing to line up in that spot, you see it's, there we go. I rotate it. Normally, it would go blue right there. In the old video, it went blue. Or in the old way I built them, they went blue right there. But for whatever reason, they're not going blue. So basically, you just have to rotate it a little bit, get that flat side to the wall, and just push it towards the wall until it goes blue. And it will go blue, just like that. And you see how it's clipped on the left side right there, right up against the wall. It is clipped partially through the wall, and that's kind of what you want. You want that little bit right there going through the wall like that, and that way you walk up and it just launches you forward, or upwards, not forwards. Now you can do window solid wall, or windows all the way up, or a pattern. That's up to you. You can do grass, it doesn't matter. The outer structure is all up to you and how you want it to look. I like to do this. Yes, I know it's a bit more expensive, but to me, it's all about how it looks. I'm not worried about the cost. But that, you stop worrying about the cost after you've been in the game for in-game time over 5 years. You want things to look a certain way after that much time. The wall is right here, is what I'm looking for. All right, so now we're going to go to, make sure, by the way, on these green walls, I have all the arrows pointing out away from the bounce webs. It doesn't matter if you have them pointing out or pointing in, just have them all pointing the exact same way. That way your wall lines up and you have that nice smooth surface to bounce up against. So definitely make sure all the arrows are pointing the same way on the green walls. The floors, you see, it used to matter which way they were turned, but with the change to the way the floors look, that was taken out of the equation. So I'm putting that big flat side of the bounce web. You see that big flat area right up there. I'm putting that up against the wall. And then right there. And once again, I have it clipped into the edge of the, very, very slightly into the edge of the wall there. And this is one of those ones you just walk in. I know we keep going like I did there, but that's all we really need to do for far as this goes. Just got to remember the snap feature is not working for me. It might work for you, and if it does work for you, awesome. Let's make sure that your stuff lines up in the exact same spot every single time. I would recommend trying to use the snap feature, which, like I said, for PC players is left control, and that way you can then rotate them all in the right spot. Because if I were to do this and get this thing to actually work, those two are in the exact same orientation, even though I moved all around because of the snap feature. So definitely want to try using that before you do what I did, how I just kind of rotated it slowly. But even then, it still works. Now we're going to go over the new design that we came up with last night on stream. And once again, I'm going to be mimicking the exact same solid wall window all the way up. You could do, like I said, windows all the way up. It's up to you. I always say, it's your world, build it your way. But I'm going to go... Actually, I'm doing this backwards. And I have a reason for that. I'm going to start with windows at the bottom. And this works just as well using grass on the outer edge versus weed stems. It's all personal preference. Now for this one, you're going to use the one curved grass floor, the full one, and you're going to put that directly opposite of the entrance where you walk in at. As you notice, I have that right here as well. I walked in, that's where I went. The other three to give the safe area, which if you're confident in your towers, you don't need this. I do it because, one, I like the way it looks, and two, I bounce backwards a lot. And there you go. So you're going to have that little opening in the center, and yes, you will fit through that. Excuse me. So now we're going to grab our bounce web, turn off we want the snap lock off. I want that flat side facing right to me. And if you look between the flat side area, there are three, and I'll move myself on the actual screen. Ooh, we're going for a ride. We've got 1, 2, 3. You want this one right here, the one that goes straight up and down right here, the middle one between here and here. You want that one right there. And that's the one I'm going to be orienting. I want that one straight towards me, as straight as it'll go. About right there. And I want it as close to that back wall as possible. So I'm going to ease it forward. And there. That way it's another just walk in and it launches you upwards. Now we're up here. The reason I switched from solid walls to windows here is just that when you land, there's a window. The reason I have it solid walls here is that same central line lines up with that back wall that has a central vertical weed stem on it. So either one works. If you're, it's up to you. Get my windows up because yes, I don't plan on stopping on the elevators. I don't know why that attached way over there, but thanks, game. But this way, if you do happen to land here, you have a view. You don't have to. You can do like I said, do it like that one over there. That way you have that back central wall to line yourself up on. Now I'm trying to center myself on the wall behind me so that when I look across and start rotating this, it lines up the way I want it to. Trying to get that middle line facing about right there and just slowly slide it back. Perfect. I'll do one more level. As soon as I find the curved wall, there we go. And then we'll do a curved floor, curved half floors, 3 of them. As long as you have that opening right there, your character will fly right through. Now, like you saw I did at the top of that one, instead of doing this, say this is the top, you don't want to go any higher, you can, instead of doing the curved floor, do a regular floor and still not hit your head on that little corner right there. So we'll drop down and there you go. So that was just something I wanted to go over, was a new little design for the perfectly round tower, which also fits quite well around these stairs. Spilltcoffee came in and she was like, hey, this fits all around there. I hadn't messed with the X. I was still working on my giant red castle builds. But she came in with that one, so I was like, you know what, we'll take a look at it. And I actually changed a few builds with that already. You know, depending on how you have it set, you would obviously have to leave one side open so you can get in. And then from there, you just go up and it wraps around quite nicely. And it fits right up against it, so it's a really good look. That was, like I said, one of my members, longtime member, Spilltcoffee. She came in and she was like, hey, you know, that fits right around there perfectly. So kind of nice to basically be able to build a tower around these things where there's no gaps and edges and weird awkwardness around the edge. It just fits smoothly up against there. So there's another thing too. If you don't want to do bounce towers, you want to do these. You have that nice option of making a very clean looking tower that sticks through the wall. Question mark. Gotta love it when Creative decides to put stuff wherever it wants. That way you can have this, and then, you know, you get up top. Let me get out of, there we go. And I actually have something like this in one of my bases now, to where I come up, and I'm in my base, after coming up the nice circular tower design, versus the hexagonal design that was wrapped around it, which worked. It just looked a little weird with a spirally staircase in the center. So, just going over some of the new build options. This was just a redesign. Like I said, that 6-sided tower is just a redesign. These bounce towers over here, these 4-sided, that's a brand new one we came up with last night. Thank you, Choppa and Chris Kappell, for your ideas and input while I was working on that. And then Spilltcoffee coming in to make sure that I remembered that this fits beautifully around here like this, because I hadn't tried it yet. So thank you guys for the extra input and the extra info. You guys are awesome. Makes streaming a whole lot of fun when you guys show up, and, well, anybody shows up and adds value to the stream. So thank you guys for all that stuff. And if everybody else, if you like this content and would like to see more like it, go and hit that like and subscribe button and turn on the bell for notifications. Until the next video, you guys have a good one.